Very good morning, dear students. This video is for class 10th, subject science, chapter number 4, and this is lecture number 10. Till now, we have studied about the nomenclature of carbon compounds, in which we have done the nomenclature of alkanes, alkynes, haloalkanes, alkenes, alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, carboxylic acids. So all these things we have done. And in today's lecture, we will be doing chemical properties of carbon compound, under which we will study some chemical reactions, or you can say the type of properties that carbon has when it reacts with some other element. First reaction is combustion, second oxidation, third addition, fourth is substitution. So under chemical properties of carbon and its compounds, we will study the four types of chemical properties of carbon and its compound, which are combustion, oxidation, addition and substitution. Now let us begin with the first one. Chemical property of carbon and its compounds is combustion. So combustion means burning of any substance in the presence of air. And what is so special in air? That is oxygen, which is a combustion supporter which helps the substance to get burned. Combustion is a chemical reaction. So there we will have the changes in the physical properties and a new product will be formed. But the requirements for the combustion to take place are that we should have a combustion gas, that is oxygen here. Then we should have a combustible substance, because the substance, if it is not combustible, then combustion can never happen. For example, if water is there in the presence of oxygen, it will never catch fire or it will never get burnt, because it is non-combustible substance. Whereas the oils which are combustible in nature, they will get burned in the presence of oxygen when fuel is provided. So third requirement is fuel. And what is the basic requirement of a fuel? It's ignition temperature. Ignition temperature is the minimum temperature at which the fuel gets burned or starts working. So ignition temperature should be as low as possible for a good fuel. And as this is a chemical reaction, a lot of heat is generated in this reaction, or you can say there is a release of large amount of energy when this reaction takes place. So this combustion reaction is a exothermic reaction. For example, burning of carbon. So when carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and heat and light in large amount is released. Then we can have the combustion of hydrocarbons, which are compounds of hydrogen and carbon. For example, when methane gas is burnt in the presence of oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, hydrogen, water molecules, or you can say water vapors are produced with the production of heat and light. This large amount of heat and light can be used for further processes. There are some more compounds of carbon like alcohols. So here we have ethanol. When it burns in the presence of oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, water vapors, and heat and light is produced. So as there is a requirement of oxygen to combustion to take place, so combustion can be of two types: complete combustion and incomplete combustion. Complete combustion is the chemical reaction in which the reactant is reacting with the sufficient amount of oxygen, or you can say the reaction in which sufficient amount of oxygen is provided. Here no residue remains after the reaction and the clean blue flame is produced. But in case of incomplete combustion, insufficient amount of oxygen is provided. And because of incomplete combustion, residues are also there, and there is a formation of carbon monoxide on the place of carbon dioxide with the yellow smoky flame. So in complete combustion, no smoke is produced, no residue is there, and carbon dioxide is not harmful, or you can say it is not poisonous for the human beings. Whereas incomplete combustion reaction causes the production of harmful poisonous gases, environment pollution, because it is providing a yellow smoky smell. So lots of smoke is produced while the incomplete reaction is taking place, along with the residues formed in the reaction. Let us have some examples of complete combustion. Complete combustion, sufficient oxygen supply. So when carbon burns in the presence of sufficient oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide, heat and light. Hydrocarbons, they burn in sufficient amount of oxygen, they produce carbon dioxide, water vapors, heat and light. In case of insufficient amount of oxygen supply, or you can say incomplete combustion, what happens? Carbon when burnt in with oxygen, and this is insufficient for this reactant, then carbon monoxide is formed. So this carbon monoxide is poisonous for us. Along with this poisonous gas, heat and light is also produced. Even the hydrocarbons, whether it is saturated or unsaturated, the amount of oxygen, if it is insufficient, then carbon monoxide will be produced, along with the water vapors, heat and light will also be released. Now let us talk about the combustion and the nature of flame. So nature of flame will be of two types. Either it is a clean blue flame, or it is yellow flame with lots of black smoke. And clean blue flame is obtained when these substances are burnt in the presence of oxygen of sufficient amount. So generally saturated hydrocarbons, they give a clean blue flame, whereas the unsaturated hydrocarbons give yellow flame with lots of black smoke. Because unsaturated hydrocarbons, they have double and triple bonds in them, so they require a lot of amount of energy to break the bonds and to make a new substance. So what are the disadvantages of incomplete combustion? Air pollution, wastage of fuel, and poisonous gases which are produced, which are harmful for human beings, like carbon monoxide. Many a times we have observed that some of the substances, they burn with flame, some of the substances they burn without flame. Here without flame means they are not burning with a blue clean flame, they are having yellow or orange fire in that with some smoke. So that is not flame, that is fire. So the substances which are volatile in nature, like wax. Volatile in the nature means when the substances are converting into the vapor phase from the solid ones, they are called volatile substances. So flame is generally produced by burning of volatile substances, like burning of a candle. So burning of a candle produces the flame. And the substances which are non-volatile in nature, when they are burnt, they produce fire and not the flame. So that is why it is called, or it is assumed, that some of the substances they burn with the flame, and some substances which are non-volatile in nature, they burn without flame. Now let us move on to the second topic, that is oxidation. Second property of carbon and its compound is oxidation. So oxidation we have studied in our first chapter, that whenever a compound or a reactant is reacting with oxygen, and when there is addition of oxygen to it or removal of hydrogen from it, then it is called a oxidation reaction. So when carbon and its compound react with the oxygen, they easily get oxidized on combustion. That we have done in the previous topic, that whenever we burn carbon and its compound in the presence of oxygen, they get oxidized. For example, when copper is burnt in oxygen and heat is provided to it, that means it is burnt. So carbon dioxide is produced. Here carbon is getting oxidized. So this process will be called oxidation reaction. We have studied another example, that is burning of alcohol. So burning of alcohols like ethanol, whenever ethanol is burnt in the presence of oxygen, or you can say we are using a alkaline oxidizing agent KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate. So this alcohol is getting oxidized. Here what is happening? One hydrogen from here is removed and one oxygen is getting attached to it. So whenever an alcohol is burning, it is forming carboxylic acids. It is getting oxidized to form carboxylic acids. So it is forming CH3COOH with the same number of carbon atoms. So as we have ethanol here, so it will be ethanoic acid, and along with it water vapors are also produced. So all the combustion reactions can be taken into account. That as an example we can take them into the oxidation reactions. Like we talked about, when a hydrocarbon is reacting with oxygen, it is getting oxidized and forming, because carbon is also getting oxidized and forming carbon dioxide, and hydrogen in the carbon compound is also getting oxidized to H2O, water. But when the carbon compound, they are burnt in the presence of sufficient oxygen, then they are forming carbon dioxide. But when this oxygen present is insufficient for the combustion, they will always form carbon monoxide, which is a poisonous gas. Type of chemical property is addition reaction. So addition reactions, saturated hydrocarbons cannot perform this reaction. Why? Because they are very less reactive. But unsaturated hydrocarbons, as they have double or triple bonds in between them, they have a tendency to get converted into single bonds. And this can be done by the addition of small molecules like hydrogen, halogen or water molecules. So the reactions which involve the addition of unsaturated hydrocarbons react with the small molecules to form saturated compounds are called addition reactions. Only unsaturated compounds can give these reactions. For example, ethene, when it reacts with chlorine molecule, it forms CH2Cl and CH2Cl. So this complete compound is called dichloroethane. Now it is a saturated compound. Earlier it was an unsaturated carbon compound. So by addition of the halogens here, what we are doing, we are converting an unsaturated compound to saturated compound. But as we know that it is hard to break the double or triple bonds, as they are the strongest as compared to the single bonds. So there is a need of some other substances which can perform or which can help in performing these kind of reactions. So the catalyst is a substance that causes the reaction to occur at the different rate, or generally you can say that catalyst speeds up the reaction. So generally nickel and palladium are used as the catalyst in these kind of reactions. Let us take an example of addition of hydrogen to ethine. When ethine, which is an unsaturated carbon compound, or you can say it is having a triple bond in between the carbon atoms, when hydrogen is added to it, first it forms ethene. It converts itself into the lower unsaturated hydrocarbon compound, and then it converts to ethane, which is the saturated hydrocarbon. But along with the addition of hydrogen, we need nickel as a catalyst, which helps to convert the ethane to ethene and then to ethane. So to convert unsaturated hydrocarbons into saturated hydrocarbons, we need catalyst. Hydrogenation. The addition of hydrogen to an unsaturated compound such as alkenes or alkynes to give alkanes is called hydrogenation, because addition of hydrogen is done to the unsaturated hydrocarbons to convert it into the saturated hydrocarbons. This process of hydrogenation or addition of hydrogen is also done to vegetable oils to convert them into the vegetable fats. This is one of the industrial application of hydrogenation or addition reactions. And what is done here? To prepare vegetable ghee, which is a fat. From the vegetable oils, this process is used. What happens in this process? Vegetable oil, which is an unsaturated oil in liquid state, addition of hydrogen is done to it in the presence of nickel as a catalyst, and it is converted into saturated fat, which is vegetable ghee, and it is solid in form. So vegetable oils like groundnut oil, cottonseed oil or mustard oil, they are converted into the saturated fats by hydrogenation process. Because hydrogenation raises the melting point of the compound above the room temperature. So this hardens the vegetable fat and it solidifies it. Although the industrial purpose to convert the vegetable oils into the vegetable ghee or saturated fats is for the purpose of increasing the value for money, but it is having a lots of disadvantages too, because saturated fatty acids are harmful to health as they increase the level of bad cholesterol in the blood. And what is bad cholesterol? Bad cholesterol is a fat that sticks to the walls of the arteries and it causes the heart disease. So it is not good for us. Vegetable oils should be taken into use while cooking the food and not the vegetable fats like dalda and all. The fourth property is substitution reactions, which involves the direct replacement or removal of an atom or a group of atom in the original molecule. So here what we are doing, we are replacing the hydrogen atoms by some other atom. These kind of reactions can only be performed by the saturated hydrocarbons. So generally halogens are used to replace the hydrogen atoms in the organic compounds. So this process of replacing the hydrogen by halogens is called halogenation. If we are adding up chlorine to remove the hydrogen, then it will be known as chlorination. If we are giving bromine to replace the hydrogen atom, then it will be called bromination and so on. So let us have one example. When CH4, that is methane, is substituted by chlorine, then what happens? But this process generally do not take place by itself. We need some kind of light or energy. But here photons, or you can say sunlight, is used to for this reaction to take place. So when methane gas reacts with chlorine in the presence of sunlight, it produces CH3Cl. So as we have studied the nomenclatures now, so we know that this is methane reacting with chlorine and producing CH3Cl. So Cl is the substitutional group, CH3 is the methyl group. So it is dichloromethane along with the production of HCl, hydrochloric acid. When further this reaction takes place, CH3Cl will react with the chlorine in the presence of sunlight and it will form CH2Cl2 along with the production of hydrochloric acid. So here the production of dichloromethane is taking place. Then we have this dichloromethane reacts with the chlorine in the presence of sunlight and forms trichloromethane. This trichloromethane is also called chloroform and HCl is also produced. Then this trichloromethane reacts with the chlorine in the presence of sunlight and forms CCl4 plus HCl. This CCl4 is tetrachloromethane or known as carbon tetrachloride. So this is how a substitution reaction takes place, that all the hydrogen atoms step by step they are replaced by the chlorine. So this process will be known as chlorination. If in place of chlorine bromine is there, then this reaction would be called as bromination reaction. So methane was the example of a smaller alkane or a alkane which is having less number of carbon atoms, but higher alkanes which are having more than 4 carbon atoms or 3 carbon atoms. So they give a mixture of isomers when chlorination is done to them, like N-propane. When we are having N-propane and it reacts with the chlorine in the presence of sunlight, it produces 2 isomers of propane. What are they? 1-chloropropane 45% and 2-chloropropane as 55%. So 2 isomers of propane are formed. So we are getting a mixture of isomers when chlorination is done with the higher alkanes. Summarize the lecture once. So in today's lecture we have studied the combustion. So combustion is burning of substance in the presence of oxygen. The combustion can be of 2 types, incomplete and complete. When sufficient amount of oxygen is provided in case of combustion, then it is complete combustion. There is a clean flame produced when complete combustion takes place and there is no residue left behind after the process or the chemical reaction. But in case of incomplete reaction, the sufficient amount of oxygen is not available, because of which harmful or poisonous gases are produced, residues are there, and lots of smoke is also produced. Then we have talked about the types of flame, that they are the saturated hydrocarbons which generally give the complete combustion. They give the clean blue flames, and the unsaturated hydrocarbons, when they are burned in insufficient amount of oxygen, then they produce yellow smoky flame. Then we have seen the disadvantages of incomplete combustion, that there is a wastage of fuel, causes air pollution, produces harmful gases like carbon monoxide. So this was all about the combustion. That we have done the oxidation, that carbon and its compound, they get oxidized when they are burnt. So this we have seen many of the examples. We have seen that burning of carbon, burning of hydrocarbons and burning of alcohols, alcohol compounds, that we have seen that whenever alcohol compound is burning, it gets converted into carboxylic acids. Then we have seen the addition reactions. So as we know that saturated compounds are stable, but unsaturated compounds are having a tendency to be converted into the single bond compounds or saturated compounds. So in this process, how they are converted into saturated compounds? By addition of hydrogen, water molecules or some halogen. So addition of hydrogen to the unsaturated compounds to convert them into the saturated compounds is called hydrogenation. We have also talked about one of the example, that is hydrogenation of vegetable oils into the vegetable ghee. So we are converting vegetable oil, which is an unsaturated compound of carbon and hydrogen into the saturated carbon compound, that is vegetable ghee. Then we have seen the substitution reaction, in which replacement of hydrogen is done by adding some halogen to it. So this process of adding or replacing hydrogen with the help of halogens is called halogenation. We have seen the example of halogenation of methane, where chlorine is replacing the hydrogen atoms, and when complete process takes place, step by step, one chlorine is replacing one hydrogen, and in the 4 steps it is completely removing the hydrogen from methane and forming tetrachloromethane. Then we have seen one more example of substitution reactions, that is with higher alkanes, that are like propane, butane and all. So these produces the isomers or mixture of isomers when they are halogenated. When we are adding chlorine to the propane, then it is forming 2 different isomers of propane, which are in some particular proportion. So this we have done in this today's lecture. In the next topic, we will be doing the important carbon compounds. We will see some of the important carbon compounds, that what is their importance, how they do their work, and why are they used. Now let us see today's homework. So today's homework, we have 2 questions. First question is, why is the conversion of ethanol to ethanoic acid is an oxidation reaction? Question number 2 is, a mixture of oxygen and ethane is burnt for welding. Can you tell why a mixture of ethane and air is not used? So you have to give the answer of these questions. Now let us discuss the questions which I have given to you in the previous lecture. Homework solutions of lecture number 9 were having question, that is, draw the structures for first part, ethanoic acid. So here you can see that ethanoic acid is there. So it must be a carboxylic group, which is C double bond O OH. And this is always present at the terminal group. So that is why there is no position mentioned here. And this is ethane. So it will be containing 2 carbon atoms. So the structure will be 2 carbon atoms. At the terminal atom we have carboxylic group, and rest of the valencies of the carbon, they will be fulfilled with the help of hydrogen. So here is the structure for ethanoic acid. The second is bromopentane. So we are having bromine as a substitutional group, and pentane is the word root or parent chain. So we will be having 5 carbon atoms, and any of the terminal will be carrying bromine, and rest of the valencies will be fulfilled by hydrogen. So here at all the ends we will be having hydrogen. Though this forms bromopentane. C part is butanone. So non, that means there is a presence of ketone group in that, and but represents the number of carbon atoms, which are 4 in number. So we'll be having 4 carbon atoms. And as it is in the mid of the chain only, so we will be having CH3, CH3 at the other end. Here we will have CH, and here we will have the ketone group. Actually it should be named as butane. Then we should have the position of the ketone group, because it is always present in the mid. So here If some position is mentioned, then we can make the structure accordingly. So here that structure which we are drawing is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it is butane 2-one. D part is hexanal. So hexane, it will be having 6 carbon atoms, and at one end we will be having aldehyde group, that is C double bond O H. Here we will be having H, and rest of the valencies will be fulfilled by hydrogen. So now this is the structure of hexanal. As we know that there is no need to mention the position at it is always at the first position. It is a terminal functional group. So here is the structure for hexanal. So that is it for today. Take care students and goodbye.
बेकार वीडियोस नहीं बनाते हैं।